On our website, if you go into, let's go to the home, there's a button right here that's VMS, or you can get to it through members and go to VMS. And you click VMS. But the easiest way is to just use that front button. You've been entered into VMS, which stands for Volunteer Management System. And he will set you up with, your name is going to be that first part of your email before the dot. So whatever you've used for an email, that's your name for VMS. And then he'll give you a one-time password, which you'll then go in and change your password. And are we recording?
I thought I got a message that said we were.
Okay.
Let me look. Yes, we are recording.
Very good. Okay. So when you go into VMS, you'll put your password in, you'll hit sign in, and this is what it looks like inside. So from here, there's a lot of information. You're looking at mine right now. Your information right here says edit your profile. When you click on that, this is where we're going to ask you to put all your contact information, your first name, last name, an address. Then you can go over to user info. See, there's my email, and therefore my username was lynn.cox because that's the first part of it. Please enter a phone number. If we need to contact you, then if this is the way the office does, this is the way other master gardeners will be able to find you. So be sure and put in at least a phone number. You can add a pic. I really need to update mine so that people who, are looking for a certain person can at least click on pictures and go, that's who I'm looking for. And then give us an emergency contact. If you fall off a ladder, which you shouldn't be on ladders, if you fall out of a tree, you shouldn't be in a tree. But if you get hurt and we need to contact somebody, then this is who we'll go to. So be sure and add in an emergency contact and their phone number. And then if you want to, you can click different types of things you're interested in. And often team members or team leads may go in and look to see who's interested in what. But really the best way to get on a team is going to be how we discuss it week after next. Your very last class, we're going to go through how to join teams, how to join committees, how to get access to those volunteer hours. So going back, here's
Lynn,
your information. Questions?
Yeah, where did you go to get to VMS again? Was that the Master Gardener website?
You go to the BearMG website. Let's go back here. And here's our website, bearmg.org, and right here it says VMS.
Got it. Thank
and
you.
that takes you into the sign-in page. You'll put in your password. You get to the home screen. This is just some general information. This lets you see how many hours of volunteer work you've done per year. And so you can go up here and see I've put in 290 so far this year, one of my lighter years. And then you can start editing your profile. If you need to reset your password, which you'll do the first time, Owen will give you one. Then for it to be private for you, come in and hit reset password. It gives you the instructions of what it needs to look like. You enter it, you repeat it, and you hit save. And that's all it takes to redo a password. After redoing passwords, the biggest thing you'll be doing is right here, adding new hours. And so when it comes up, it'll be already filled with Bear County, your name. And so after that, it's by project. So each of the things that you volunteer has a project name. Gail, you have a question? You're muted.
Okay, so at the beginning of this, I looked at this earlier today. It says that you have to do 35 hours of volunteer, but
That is for a master gardener to recertify for next year.
okay,
You're not
so because
master
it was
gardener
different
yet.
than, okay, makes sense.
Yes,
All right.
yes. So recertification, for example, I needed to have done 35 hours of volunteer work plus 10 continuing education hours and attend 2 meetings. And then I would be recertified, and I've met those 3 conditions. So once I pay my dues, hang on, there's our speaker. Hi, Owen.
I'm here, I think,
Oh, okay.
but I don't hang up.
No, I'm going to turn this over to you. Hang on.
Oh,
Jen,
okay.
while you're doing that, before Owen speaks, Karen put a note in here that the email she received from VMS went to spam. She said it was from the Texas VMS new account system, and the subject line was new account in Texas MG VMS, and it went into her junk mail. So just FYI.
Okay. I'm going to do a stop share. Okay, Owen.
Can you see?
Owen Kaiser is our VMS coordinator. He's put you into the system. You're starting to get the emails for setup, and a very good point from Muriel, since they all go out in kind of a big batch, sometimes your systems will tag them as spam and put them in your spam or your junk folder. So be watching for that. And Owen, I'm going to let you share screen and walk these interns through the use of VMS.
I'm not, okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Wonderful.
Okay,
how
your
do I-
video is off. So you want to click video on.
Where video, no, that's view.
Down in the bottom, probably bottom left.
Start video,
Probably. There you are.
I don't remember. Oh, okay. All right, I'm sitting in a hallway.
Okay.
So I'm not, yeah. What is, okay, so how do I get the power?
And then share your screen.
Share screen
Yep.
and double click.
Click on. Very good. We see it.
No. No. Okay, Oh, okay, I'm gonna shut a door. I'm sorry. Okay, that's better for me. Okay, are we there?
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right, let's go. First of all, sorry. I'm at a different location. We did a run through this morning. It worked just fine. Now I'm someplace else, and yeah, that's not so good. Okay, anyway, so this is an introduction to VMS. What is it and how do I use it? There's my name, Owen Kaiser. I am the VMS coordinator. There's my telephone number and my email. What is VMS? VMS is the volunteer management system. Obviously, I'm reading the slide here. It's used by all master gardeners in all of the Texas counties. It is not just Bear County. It's also used by the Texas naturalists. So we've got a lot of users. VMS is used to record your volunteer hours and your continuing education hours. And then David uses the reports that I generate, and he turns those reports into the state, and Bear County Master Gardener gets funding. So we get indirectly, we get paid for your efforts. You don't get paid, but he does. Okay, what are the requirements? Intern requirements, and this was a confusion item on my part when I was an intern. Your first year as an intern, your requirements are 50 volunteer hours. When you certify at the end of December, next December, and you become a master gardener as opposed to an intern, then the requirements are only 35 volunteer hours and 10 hours of education, of which at least 2 of those have to be the monthly meetings. They can be all monthly meetings if you want. But there's a lot of classes that you can take. So this year or this period, it's 50, but after you certify, it's 35 and 10.
Owen, I'm sorry to interrupt. They wanted to take one more look at your contact information.
I show that at the end also.
Okay, great. Thank you.
There's the contact information. I am happy to talk with you. VMS is not, in my opinion, the most user-friendly system. And I have made suggestions to the tech team that manages all of it, and they go, that's a really good idea. We'll add it to the list. But that's not terribly reassuring. So there are problems. I was a programmer and I wouldn't do some of the things they're doing, but that's not my choice. So when you have questions, I'd be happy to talk to you. Okay, continuing on. 50 hours. You can take classes, you can record CEs, you can go to the monthly meetings, but it doesn't count. You're smarter, you're better off for it, but it doesn't count towards the 50. Okay, where do I start? This is the Bexar County Master Gardener website. bearmg.org. And that is the easiest way to get into the system, bearmg.org. How do I use it? So that you click on members, and then there's VMS guidelines and codes. So there's the members up on top, and then there's a drop-down box, VMS guidelines and codes / how many hours. And this is the page that you'll get. And there's 4 items listed, 4 bullets. First one, VMS coding guidelines, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Guidelines, and then the project codes. Okay, here are the guidelines. Number 1, you cannot log volunteer hours and education to the same project. It's one or the other. It's either a class or you're volunteering. You can volunteer for, that's going to confuse people. Okay, classes versus training. Classes are typically presented by AgriLife as an AgriLife function. They are open to the public. And they're often hosted by David or Molly or a certified MG or an instructor. And those classes are always logged as CEs to Project 001. Training, on the other hand, is a seminars, not to the public. Such as, well, we'll hope it can.
Well, you just cut out a lot. You may have to repeat that. You were freezing up and cutting out for the last 30 seconds.
In fact, you're frozen.
Sorry.
No, there you go.
CDG, Children's Veg. I'm sorry?
You're cutting out. You might need to start this slide again.
Okay, starting this slide again. Training is different than a class. Training is different than a class. Training is where something specific is being presented to master gardeners, but the public is not available, is not invited to it. such as if you go to the children's vegetable garden, there's a little half an hour training session, what they're going to talk about that day. That is not a class. If you're going to work as a cashier, that is not a class. Most of the classes are gardening related. So training time, you do get credit for the training time, but it says volunteer hours and not CEs. And then, well, where do I log it? Many times, projects 0700, teams and committees, is a good general category. Ask a Master Gardener is project 0100. The hotline is 0300. Children's Vegetable Garden is project 1200. Those are big, very popular projects. You'll probably be logging time to those. Those would be logged, even though you may be learning something, it's training, and those are volunteer hours. Okay, is that understandable? Okay, more guidelines. The monthly meeting. You do not have to attend monthly meetings as an intern, but you are welcome. The monthly meeting is always logged to project 002, and it is always 1 CE regardless of the duration of the meeting. The meetings usually last about an hour and a half or so. You should enter the date that the meeting was actually held on, not the date that you watch it online, but the actual date that it was held. And the description should include the title of the presentation. And if you forget, it's on the calendar, the Bexar County Master Gardener calendar. You can go back and you can look at that there. Project 002 for the monthly meetings is just really a count of your attendance. 1, 2, 3. You need at least 2 attendances. It's not the number of hours in the meeting. Okay. Furthermore, continuing education, those hours are logged to project. I've sent Lynn this presentation, so you will have a copy of these slides. So that hopefully will be helpful to you. So continuing education is 001 to 003, and those are always 4 CEs. Volunteer hours are logged to a 4-digit number, 0100 through 1200. Volunteer hours and continuing education is always recorded to the closest half hour, rounding up and down as appropriate. The description of your entry should be something meaningful. Monthly meeting or class will not be meaningful to you in a year. Now, some people, they write a whole paragraph in the description. If you want to do that, that's fine. But it's the description is it's a free format field. You can put anything in there that you want. But for the monthly meeting, the description should be the title of the meeting. Recommendations. Report your hours as soon as possible, at least weekly. Hours that are not reported until the end of the month, and some people wait till the end of the year, they're forgotten. You forget what you did. In addition, those hours may not be reflected on the reports that I generate at month end, and therefore we have no supporting documentation for David for the funding. Double dipping. This doesn't happen very often, but it might. If you assist David in a presentation, or if you're at a class, you're taking a class and you're assisting David, that can either be volunteer hours because you're helping David, or it could be a class. You're taking the class, you're listening to what he says. You're a greeter for David, you're handing out papers, but you can log that either as a CE because you were listening, or volunteer hours because you were working. But you can't do both. You have to choose. Generally, the CEs, we've got lots of classes that are online. Molly Keck's webinars, her insect webinars, they're on YouTube. So getting CEs is easy. Generally, you're going to be more interested in getting the volunteer hours. It's up to you, but you have to choose. Is this CE or is this volunteer? Can't be both. Okay, so project 001 are for classes and seminars. Most all of your classes are going to be 001. 002 is the monthly meeting. It's only the monthly meeting, and it's always in increments of 1. 003 is unusual. It's relatively new. It is advanced training, and you won't be doing any of that for a while. It's a fee-based class, such as plant pathology or rainwater harvesting. I did one on mulching. You pay for the class, and then you have to do a number of presentations to the public to earn your certification. So your CEs go to 003 when you take the class. But those are advanced classes, and again, you pay for them. Most of the time, 95% is going to be 001 for classes that you take. And the other projects, 0100 is community outreach, and that's like Ask a Master Gardener. So you'll be turning in volunteer hours for the time. 0150 is at the Botanical Garden. 0200 is Cultivate. The Cultivate production team. If you attend the Cultivate classes, which are online, you don't log that to Cultivate. You would log that to Project 001 because it's a class. You're attending the class. If you're making the presentation, or if you're backstage and working on editing or whatever else is needed, then you're working for the project, and you would log your volunteer hours to Cultivate. It's the Cultivate production team, not I took a Cultivate class. That makes sense? A lot of confusion on that. 0300 is the hotline, and I understand you will be doing hotline time, so you would record your volunteer hours to Project 0300. 0400 is listed on a drop down that we'll see in a little bit. That was for the rodeo, and I missed the rodeo. It was a lot. 0500 is Speakers Bureau, assisting a speaker, preparing or presenting a topic, or if you are writing articles for the Scion, that would be Speakers Bureau. Again, these are volunteer hours. Project 0600 is SAWS, and there's a number of activities that they have there. 0700, this is a general category. Kind of where do I put my time? This might be a good place to put it as teams and committee. So that's team training and instruction, the Facebook and leaflet team, working on publicity, fundraising, movers and shakers. That is a bunch of people that set up and tear down and haul back and forth tables and chairs and things at various venues. So that's set up. 0800, if you really want to get volunteer hours, get on the board. You'll have hundreds of hours. 0900, the time that I spent developing these slides, I charged to Project 0900. You will not charge time to this. You are the recipient, you are the beneficiary, but you wouldn't charge your time. Project 1000 is no longer used. Project 1100 is extension for adults, and 1200 is extension for youth. 1200 is a children's vegetable garden. And that a lot of people put a lot of hours into the vegetable garden. So 1200 is for CVG. Again, CVG, they usually have about a 15-minute, 30-minute class with the kids. You just roll that into your volunteer hours for Project 1200. Even though it's a class, it's a class for the kids. You're eavesdropping. You don't get CEs for that 15, 30-minute talk where they're talking about earthworms in the compost. 1200 is Children's Vegetable Garden, and that's a very popular project. How do I get at VMS? That's what we're going to talk. Okay, any questions at this point? I hear roaring silence. I'm really good. Okay, how do you get to VMS? Back on the main menu, there right above Facebook, Scion Newsletter and VMS. And I right-click the VMS, and that way it opens up a new tab on my browser. It keeps the BCMG open if I need to use it, and then it opens a new page for VMS. And that's what the sign-in page looks like. And that's where you put your name, your username, and your password. I entered everyone into the system this morning. You should have received 2 emails. One of them is from VMS support, and the other one is from Bexar County Master Gardeners, from David and Scott Peacock. The first one has your username and your password. Your username is your email address up to the @ sign. So my email is kaiseror@yahoo.com. My username is kaiseror. Your password initially is going to be garden number 4 life $, and that's only good one time. When you come into the system, you will have to change the password to one of your choosing. And that's in the email. So if you don't have it in your inbox, check your spam. And if it's not there, check your trash. Okay, so that's the sign-in page. This is the home page. And on the left, in this one, it says new 2025-2026 certification requirement. That's kind of a news page, a news announcement. And there on the right is your total hours that you have recorded to this point. So for almost all of you, it'll be 0. But when you log in, it'll show you your total hours. If you want to know how close you are to 50, it's on the home page. Okay, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, on your initial login, you are going to have to enter your personal information. That is your name. I put people's nicknames in if they specified one. If you want to use Robert instead of Bobby, then you can change that. You can change anything. It will ask you for your telephone number. It'll ask you for your address. It'll ask for emergency contact information. Who should we contact if we have to? It's required on the initial login along with a new password. After that, you can change it anytime you want to. but you have to put in the information on your initial login. Okay, so this is the home screen. There's the certification requirement. That's the broadcast memo. Up on the top, your information and to edit your profile. On your initial login, you'll go straight to it. But if you want to change it later, say you move and you want to change your address, this is how you would change your address. So edit your, and here are the different categories of information. Name, here's your name, address, city, zip, state, and then there's user info. That is where you would change your password. You will have to change your password, but if you want to change it again next month, it's under user info. Your phone number, photo bio. I don't think anyone puts a photo up. You can, and emergency contact. Okay, how do I add hours into VMS? This is what you want to know. And it's on your information and add new hours. So here's the home page, your information, and then you get the drop down and it says add new hours. So you click on add new hours. The other ones are edit your profile, reset your password, add new hours, and view your hours. We're going to do add new hours. This is the ad screen. Program, Master Gardener, MG name, you can't change that. It's for Bear and it's for you. Project, you click on that, there's a drop down and it shows all those projects. There's project 001, 2, 3, and then, so those are for CEs. Most of the time you'll do 001, and then 100, 150, 200, and so on. So you click on one. So here I clicked on 002. So there are 3 errors on this page. Can you find them?
Looks like the hours are a quarter rather than a half.
Yay, that's one.
The description for the meeting is not adequate.
That's not terribly a clever name. No, the third one is difficult. You wouldn't know it. The meetings are on the third Thursday. No, third Monday now. And the 10th is obviously the wrong date. So if I put that, the system will accept that. The system will accept just about anything, but I won't. So how do you view your hours and fix it? So there's the view your hours. On the home page, you hit your information and then view your hours. And there's your hours. Those are the hours that you've entered. The latest one, today's would be the first one. And last month would be the bottom one. And if you look there, view, it says 10. That's 10 lines on a page. And then you'd go down here and go to the next page, or you can change that number. There's 10, 20, 30, 50, 75, 100. 10 is annoying. I always change that, but it doesn't stick. So you have to change it each time. So anyway, so you come down here and the gray oval, that's what you click. That's the one that I want to change. So you do a click on that oval, the gray oval, and it shows your old entry. And then you simply change it to what it ought to be. You change the date. You can either type the date in, or there's a little calendar over here and you can select the date. You change the volunteer hours to 0 when you put the 1 in, and you change the name. I put MM for monthly meeting, Dragonflies and Damselflies by Wizzy Brown. That was the speaker's name. So that way I know to myself that this was a monthly meeting, but you also know that because it's project 002. And then you hit save up here on the top. Hit save. Did I say that? Hit save. Remember to save your work. I've got an old joke on that, but anyway, so you just type over and then you save it. Okay, useful tip. You can copy old records. If you're working in the children's vegetable garden every week, you could take last week's entry and then just change the date, and maybe for the description, you'd say, we planted broccoli. So you say that you click on the copy up here, and then you make your changes. Children's vegetable garden is project 1200. You change the date. A lot of times it's children's vegetable is 3 hours, and you'd say planted broccoli. Or you can go on and you can discuss every conversation you had, have fun, go ahead and do that. And then hit save up here at the top. So that could save you time and effort and a bit of frustration, because you're repeating something you do on a weekly basis. You don't have to start over each time. Okay. How am I certified? Do I have the 50 hours? So your progress table on the home page shows your total volunteer hours and your continuing education. It also shows miles. If you are doing itemized deductions for your income tax, you could record your miles, and it's a deduction, I think. It's your choice. Sometimes it's interesting just from a personal basis, especially if you're going to remote locations, to see, but it doesn't matter. Your volunteer hours, your CEs, to see if you're certified. If you were a master gardener, not an intern, you want to know if you've got your monthly meetings. It's say this time at the end of the year, have I done the 2 meetings? I think I have, but I'm not sure. So there's a close-up of my hours this year, a little while ago. So I've got 119 volunteer, 19 CEs, and 0 miles. So yet I'm probably certified, but do I have the 2 monthly meetings? How can I find that out? I'm glad you asked. So you go back to the view your hours, and you've got a green search bar up there. And you click on search, and that's the search page. And if you want to know if you have how many project 002 entries you've made, you would say the date is equal to, in this case, it was 2024. And you do the drop down for 002. And you obviously hit enter, search. And here is the list of only project 002 entries that I logged in 2024. You can search for any project. Don't, but it's only for searching for projects going, yeah. It's all you've got is the date, and it's got less than or greater than or equal to, and then the project number. That's the only searchable fields. So there's the 002s. Do not hit the browser back button. It doesn't work. The one that you always use, here it is, up here, don't do that. Use the back button. If you do, when you hit the back browser button, you'll get a nasty message, and you'll have to go back to this gray taskbar to go back to where you were. It's not going to log you off or delete your data or delete you. It's annoying. I don't know why they did that, but they did. Use the back button. You will hit the browser button, the browser back. I still do it. You can also use VMS to find someone. We used to publish a phone book. We don't do that anymore. So up there on the top taskbar, member roster, and there's everybody in Bear County Master Gardeners. Everybody. Some of them are probably dead. So you change, you click on the advanced search, and there's the search page. And if I was looking for, that intern's name, that's Roy. What Roy? What? So you can say, show me all the interns, or interns and certified. Or you can click on MG name, and that will give you a blank bar, and you type the name in, and it will show you people that start with those letters. And then you can select the name. So in this case, I'm doing intern, and then I go hit search, and I get a list of all the interns. Okay. Now, here's something that I wish to point out. You are class number 68. I have put a paren 68 close paren on your last name. That is not your assumed age, it's the class number. Don't take it off, please. The reason it's there is because when I generate intern reports, class 66 and class 67 would be on the same report. And so this way I can tell who's in class 66 and class 67. 66 has graduated, 67 will graduate in December, but now I got 32 class 68s. So that 68 is temporary, and when you finish the intern program, I will take that off. But that's what it's for. It's your class number. So then you can, if you wanted to talk to Mary, you would click on her view profile, and that would have her name and her address and stuff like that. VMS is not in the public domain. BearMG.org is in the public domain. Anybody can look at that. It does not contain any sensitive information. VMS has got your phone number, your address, and stuff like that. But you have to be able to sign into VMS, and so it's restricted. So this has got information so other people can get a hold of you. Okay, wrap up. CEs always and only go on project 001 to 003. 001 is the classes, 002 is the monthly meeting, 003 is the advanced training, which you may do that in a little while. Bill Swatner, I think he's got all of them. There's like 30 different advanced trainings. He's got almost all of it. It's incredible. Okay, there will be times when you're not sure which project code to use. It could easily go in this one or that one. So I say, review the members' VMS guidelines and codes webpage. That might give you, it might be identified. But there's instances where it could go in a couple of different places. If you're working at the children's vegetable garden, that's easy. If you're working on the hotline, there's a project for that. But there's some other things like the poinsettia sale. Well, where do I do that? Most of the time, when you're volunteering for a project, it will tell you what project you should use. So that takes some of the uncertainty out. So use the closest project down here. At the end of the month, what I'm doing right now is I download all of the VMS entries that have been made this year, and I look for certain problems, and then I email the master gardener saying, this entry, you said it was a class, but you You attended Cultivate, but you charged it to 0200, which is the Cultivate production team. So I will send you an email saying that you used the wrong project. I show you what you did wrong and why, and I'm asking you to correct it. It greatly reduces the amount of work I had to do because I used to change it and let you know what I changed, and the same people made the same mistake month after month after month. It's a lot easier now because they've said, oh, I shouldn't do it that way. So I will send you an email explaining what was wrong and what you should do to fix it. So then you go and you view your hours and you click on the gray oval and you change the project or whatever. Okay, that's it. Any questions? I got a whole bunch of chats up there. Lynn?
I am looking, some of these we asked, or we answered while you were talking. Let me go through.
Oh, and I'll just say, while Lynn's looking, there are a couple of people who did not get their email, so I've asked them to reach out to you individually just in case there was a problem with their email.
Yes. Good.
Okay, yeah, that seems to be it. We're good. And yes, I will be sending out a copy of a PDF of his presentation with everything that was on the screen that he showed you, and a link to the recording so you can hear him as you're viewing that that document if you like. Right now, I know a lot of the terms, teams, project numbers, things like that are confusing because you're not involved yet. But trust me, on Thursday afternoon or Wednesday after next, when we introduce teams and committees and you get a feel for that, then a lot of these codes are going to work, make more sense. And if they don't, remember, you have lots of resources. Like Owen said, you can go pull down the list and kind of read which is what. You can call your mentor and ask them, I did this. Is that project such and such or project such and such? Or you can contact me. Like I said, I'm with you for the year. You can contact Owen, especially if you get yourself locked out somehow VMS. That's an Owen call.
Yeah.
But what code or
Yes.
anything like that, I can also help you with it. So any questions that you can think of right now for Owen?
Yeah, so
There's a.
I,
I'm-
Michael Lichtenstein, so I have a question. How do projects get approved? Like, so for example, there's a new arboretum being developed in the south part of the city, and they've got a place where they're growing trees and propagating them. And if a master gardener wanted to work there or put some volunteer time in for that, how could that be approved?
Do you want that
That,
one, Owen, or you want me to take that one?
go ahead, Lynn. That's a hard one.
Okay, so first of all, a service project, remember that a master gardener, we don't do labor, we provide education. So a project like that where you're simply caring for the trees is probably not going to be approved. Now, if you were giving a class out there on trees or proper pruning techniques or things like that, those kinds of projects are most likely to be approved. We
So
do have a process.
if the Arboretum had a public facing event where they are inviting members of the public, and as a master gardener, you were working there and helping teach the public or doing demonstrations or some kind of hands-on activity that children and their parents could do, that potentially could count.
Yes, and what that organization would do if they weren't aware of it is to contact the master gardeners. And there a lot of organizations already understand, especially the ones that are like Earth Days and public events. They'll ask for an Ask a Master Gardener table. They'll ask for, or simply ask for master gardeners come and be able to answer gardening questions. We have a team for that. And so that team would then send out a contingency to work there. The organization of who does the work would be done within our organization, and we would supply them with a team of master gardeners to do that. So as a master gardener, you're not looking for your own volunteer activities. You're supporting the activities that have been requested of AgriLife and the Bexar County Master Gardeners to go to. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't accept new projects. Absolutely, we're looking for new ways to reach out into the community for education. And in that case, we have a form that you fill out that shows, what would be done, who would be doing it, what kind of information is being shared. That gets presented to the board reviews it, and then ultimately David is the ultimate decider of what counts for volunteer hours, just as he's the ultimate decider on anything to do with certification, which includes your volunteer hours, your continuing education hours.
Usually,
Like volunteer time though at Greenies when that's up and running, that would count if things needed to be planted, if they needed to have weeding, if there was mulching, cultivation.
If that we're working on, yes, it should. In the past, when COVID happened, it was one of the few projects that we could work on. But again, we're looking for an educational component. If that Greenies field is being used for education, then yes, the maintenance of that would then come back as volunteer hours. We're waiting to hear from David what the specific plans are for that.
every other week, the leaflet newsletter comes out and it lists projects and classes that are available. But if you have
You froze.
say that would not qualify. Good for you. I'm getting a message. Internet is volunteering yourself is wonderful, and you can identify yourself as a master gardener, but it would not, the volunteer hours would not count. You get the experience. Same thing with classes. If the Arboretum had a class, it would not count because it's not a master gardener class. It's not an AgriLife class. Classes and volunteer projects are generally announced. And so you would have a list. Oh, this is a class or this is an event that I could participate in. But it has already gone through the screening process.
So I'm on the calendars that are in the VMS, and I'm wondering how those work. I see where it says that there might be 2 volunteers needed. I see where it's pink if it's full. How did those people sign up to be one of those docent assistants?
Those we will explain on the Thursday when we talk about volunteer opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Thanks, Lynn.
for a lot of, and I'll just share this now because it gets a little confusing. So if you hear it again and again, it kind of helps solidify it. A lot of the volunteer work that we do is done through a team. And a team is a group of
Okay.
master gardeners that are trained to do specific things. You can
Got it.
volunteer for any team, but you have to a lot of those teams have trainings or orientations that you have to go through before you can do those.
That totally makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Lynn.
You bet.
Lynn, I have a question that JJ asked and I answered it. And then I thought I had second thoughts about it. He said, if he gets his, if any of the interns get all their requirements done quickly, in other words, I know they have until the end of 26 to get them done, but if they get them done earlier, will they be certified earlier?
They will be certified earlier. David wants y'all certified as soon as you get your 50.
Yes, we've got a class 67 intern, and she currently has about 250 volunteer hours now. And I think she's certified in about 3 months. So yes, you will, your status is changed. I will change your status and you will be announced at the monthly meeting. I will change the status from intern to certified, but I will keep the 68 on your name so that even though you're not an intern, you're still in the intern class. You could imagine if all of the interns got their hours in early, my intern report would have nobody on it because you're all certified. So you will certify, but you keep the quasi-intern status, the 68 suffix on your name. But yes, you will certify immediately at month end. I do not run the reports every day. I run the reports at month end, about the 5th or 6th, after the first weekend of the month. So if you put in your hours on the 15th for last month, it'll show up the next month because you missed the cutoff. I generate the reports at the end of the month. So get your hours in. Any other questions?
Lynn, I think this is one that might, well, I don't, you or Owen, but this is a question I know we've gotten from more than one person in the past. Lindsay asked, if we volunteer at Sabbath and log our volunteer hours on their system, are we allowed to log the same approved hours here on VMS, or is it an either or option?
It's an either or option. We only, not all Sabbath volunteer opportunities count for Master Gardener hours. We serve in the docent garden, so you would join the culinary docent team. We work in the children's vegetable garden, so you will join that team. Or we give programs through Speakers Bureau, so you would be on that team. But working in the greenhouse, doing other kinds of Sabbath hours don't count as Master Gardener projects.
That's right. Yes.
And Liz wants to know how she finds out when the monthly meetings are.
It's in the leaflet.
It's in the leaflet, and I would say it was always a certain day, certain week, certain month, but this last year I noticed a couple of changes. So check the calendar that's on our website. And then always the next monthly meeting will be in that feature box that's showing the poinsettia and pansy sale.
I've got a question on the children's garden.
Yes.
I understood that was different from other Sabbath volunteer work because you are working for Master Gardeners all the time on those activities for the children's garden.
That's correct. There are 3 where you are working as a Master Gardener, but at the Sabbath. And that's the children's vegetable garden, when you're serving as a culinary docent in that garden, or when you're giving a presentation as a Master Gardener. Those are the 3 ways Master Gardeners serve at the Sabbath as a Master Gardener.
And can we still log in hours on the Sabbath system? They want those hours in their system too. And is that a violation?
No, if Sabbath needs those hours, that's fine. But
Okay.
But vice versa doesn't work. If you're
Yeah.
working like in the greenhouse at the Sabbath, you can't log those in as Master Gardener hours. They're not an approved project for Master Gardeners. You
And
can
there's
do
no-
them, but you're doing it as a Sabbath volunteer.
And there's no Master Gardener there.
And there's no,
Yeah.
there are lots of Master Gardeners that serve in the greenhouse, but they're doing it as a Sabbath volunteer, not a Master Gardener
Yeah.
volunteer.
Not a supervisor. Yes, that makes sense.